how to activate your evolutionary leadership. Welcome back to the Path to Purpose podcast with Dr. Katja Rusanen. In today's episode, we are exploring another inspiring journey, offering expert tips to help you live your purpose. Are you ready to be inspired? I'm super excited to introduce our guest, Curtrice Goddard, who is transformational leadership coach, speaker, and racial healing facilitator. She's the founder of a healing platform exploring the intersection of spirituality and racial healing. Curtrice sends an empowering message that our efforts to create regenerative changes begin at the level of individual consciousness. Her career spans over 15 years of spiritual development, consciousness studies, holistic medicine, herbalism, and trauma healing. So you are up for a treat here, as in this interview, we will explore how to activate your evolutionary leadership. So welcome. So lovely to have you here, Curtrice.
Thank you, Katja. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. A joy. Thank you.
And I just want to hear, because we have known since we were just catching up before this, starting this recording. So we met 2015.
Yes.
And already then you were on the path. I remember we have the LA story, meeting in LA, sharing a room, talking these big dreams, like talking with Oprah one day. And I have a feeling you're going to get there. So was there a special event that led you to this specific path?
I would say so. And I love the title of the podcast, Path to Purpose. And we met because we were on our path, and our paths were similar in ideas and consciousness and humanity, sharing positive messages. And when I think about maybe a single thing, I think it's more of a set of events or just the evolution of the world that has called me into this level of work. 2020, during the pandemic, there was like a racial upheaval, like an explosion happened. During that time, I felt really compelled to bring more consciousness into the world because everybody was in so much fear. There was so much of the unknown. There was so much that was like dissolving in our physical world. And I was, just kind of looking at the world and was thinking, okay, within myself, I definitely have fears and things that come up, but because of the work I've done internally, I feel more resilient, more compassionate, right? That I can actually help and be more of a steady force in the world. And I want that for more people, right? When we do that inner development work, we can be more of a contribution to ourselves and to the world and to humanity. And so that's why I'm so on fire about sharing consciousness, right, with other people and as a tool of social activism and racial healing. Yes, I would say 2020 was the changing point.
Yeah. I've seen that. I really love the work that you do in the world. And let's just help everybody get to the same page. So when you say evolutionary leadership, what does that mean to you?
It is being aware of times are evolving, like stepping into what is next, right? For me, leadership means to be innovative, to be creative, to bring in the things that may not have existed before, right? So we have how the world has been, we have how the systems have been, but then evolutionary leaders, they come in and they create a new thing. Maybe the thing you haven't seen. You can look at other templates in the world, but what's your magic and medicine and voice and message that you are uniquely bringing to the world? And you are evolving off of what has come before, but you're doing a new thing. And that's a very powerful role. And it takes a lot of empowerment to step into a new thing. Just like for me, racial healing, anti-racism work, I have that connected to the word transcendence. right? And it's something you don't see in the field a lot. It's not as common. It's the new thing. I am evolving what has been and sharing my perspective and my medicine. Not that my way is the one way, but I'm in my own evolutionary leadership. And I know there's a lot of people who have uniqueness and unique medicine that they want to step into. And that's what I help leaders do.
Yeah. And I feel
Yeah.
like more and more people are also called, like now, to step up
Yes.
and start sharing exactly what you are bringing forward, like
Yeah.
sharing what's unique about their message that they have in their heart. And I think that is also a way forward for us as a humanity,
Yes.
because we can't
Yes.
keep repeating the same old. We
Yes.
need to move forward.
Yes. It's so needed. And if you have that calling, you are really, that is a unique awareness to feel that within your being, to put something new out into the world. And I feel you need community to do it. You need podcasts like this. You need people around you, because it can be scary to come out of the group collective thought and do a new thing, forge that new path. But in order for you to feel alive and really step into your own healing and fullest expression, it is pivotal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does take courage to be, in a
Oh,
way, that trailblazer, the pioneer who says,
yes.
brings something new forward
Yes.
into the world. And you also combine that leadership with this sacred activism. So
Mm.
can you share a little bit more about that? Because it's a really beautiful mix you're
Yes.
bringing forward.
Yes, leadership and sacred activism. Let me just feel into this a little bit. As I look out into the world and seeing how the consciousness is shifting on the planet, I'm seeing more of us coming together for sure. And I'm seeing like the collective is almost like an invitation for us to step into social issues and things in the world from a collective standpoint. So not it's you over there, I'm over here, but it's we are looking at these things. We are looking at these systems. Are we in right relations with one another? Are we in right relations with the earth? Right? We're actually starting to look at these things. And for me, leadership, anyone in leadership, it feels like a sacred responsibility for you to have a voice when it comes to any harm or oppression to other people and the earth. All these things we should be conscious of. I always say, as a woman of consciousness, I can speak to anything on the planet. There's nothing that I have to avert my eyes from. Right. This is a natural thing. I've done the work to be able to sit there with a level of neutrality and listen and be some level of a balm and share my own perspectives without running away. Right. And so I encourage people that's in leadership positions, like there's a sacred responsibility for you to come into activism, and not solely for the other. Activism work to me is for yourself. Racial healing is not about what you can do for Black and brown people or whomever. It is also about your own empowerment. Where are you also being implanted with systems in the world? Where have you given your power over to a construct or whatever it is, and come to know your full sovereignty, right? And that's how you honor me. That's how you honor the other, by you becoming a more conscious evolutionary being. Yeah.
I love that, because it is like, I believe that the change that we want to see in the world, it starts inside out.
Absolutely, Katya. Yes.
So
Yes.
if we want to see, like, let's start, because that's something, sometimes the things in the world, it feels so big, and what can I do to contribute, and how can I help? But I feel like if we tap in, like, okay, let's start that change within, that also empowers people, like, hey, we can do
Yeah.
something.
And that's a powerful word. When you say it empowers people, that's revolutionary, because in most society, the empowerment of the people is not necessarily what the systems promote. Empowerment. People that are in fear are easier to lead, easier to comply to agendas that, not necessarily saying that people are out to harm you, but we all have agendas in life. I don't know if my agendas are always in alignment with our government. I don't know if we're on the same page with how I would like to see the world. So they have an agenda and I have an agenda for my life, right? And so personal empowerment is very radical. And when I think about initiatives in the world that do good in the world, one, it's an initiative, it may be an organization or templates that are created, but it's my belief that if the individuals aren't healing and really transforming how they see themselves and see others and see the world, then these aren't sustainable changes. I want more than initiatives. I actually see a call and an invitation for us to evolve as human beings. We're organically connecting to one another, that we're actually holding a field of consciousness and healing in the world, right? That's what's really going to be regenerative and sustain us and help the descendants and those that come after us, leaving this level of consciousness on the planet.
I love that, because it is really the consciousness and how the consciousness shifts, the collective consciousness.
Yes.
Because it is so fascinating when enough people start thinking certain way, it becomes the mainstream. Like there has been, for example, some of the healing modalities like Reiki, all of a sudden it's mainstream because enough people are like tuning into that energy healing modality. And then it's like, oh, it's normal.
It's normal. Yes. But then that's making me think of evolutionary leadership. When we first met, and I've been on this journey almost 16 years, a lot of the modalities and communities that we were in, it was not normal. It wasn't of the norm. It wasn't in the masses, and now it is. And so I just want to speak to that courage part again. We were doing something that, wasn't so acceptable in society, and now it is. So in your evolutionary journey, you might be alone for a minute, right? With your new thing and this new path that you are forging and in your message that you're sharing with people, but the world will eventually catch up.
Yeah. And I think I love that you share that, because it really is that courage and belief within, because I totally get that. I have been like, oh, maybe I should do something different. But then I have always come back to what's in my heart. And it feels like this is the way for me. It's not everybody's, but like tapping into that, this is what I need to bring into the world. And I'm saying yes, having the willingness to do what I can do here and what I feel called to do. So let's talk about your work a little bit more. And we started tapping into that. So how does your work support an individual's personal journey and their work in the world and the collective experience? If you want to share a little bit more, I know you've already started going there, but you have so much wisdom to share. So anything else you want to highlight here?
Yeah, so I work with leaders. I also work in schools as well. So I teach on racial healing, racial liberation classes. And the premise is, again, looking at programming and looking to dissolve and excavate any level of supremacy programming, anything that is causing people to not fully know who they are, have a healthy sense of self, and actually heal through things. In the world. So when I think about sacred activism and think about evolution, I was seeing it in the world, and I was like, okay, so we have all this information. We're learning more about history. We're learning more about the state of the world, but do the individuals feel empowered, right, through this experience? And that is so important to me. So, I mean, to put it lightly, I think my work is like empowerment work, but it is actually empowering people to step into racial conversations and initiatives and in their own body. Like, look at where you may have dormant or unconscious programming and how that feels in your body, and start to release and dissolve that. My classes are so powerful. We leave like we're sweating. It's kind of like this, kind of like Reiki is such because it's a multicultural experience, and is deep and is sacred and is very private and intimate, because we allow things to come up that maybe we can't say to the entire world, but we're holding each other as one collective. right? And we're allowing people to go through their process without being pretty and without saying the right things, just being really, really human in these containers. And it's been so healing. So that's the work. Right now I'm doing a year-long curriculum with a couple of classes, and it's just been so transformational to help them. And the biggest piece for me, when you said also empowerment, when you talk about evolution and racism and racial healing, I look at people in white bodies as the big piece for them is to move through their healing and become empowered. Like, you don't often hear people say that white people need to be empowered. And that to me, we need all human beings empowered, aware, benevolent, noble, in the truth of the light of who they are, right? And we can trust that if people are really healed within, that when they are at that level of consciousness, then you are automatically game changers. You are automatically trailblazers. Even if you don't have a platform, even if you're a mother, seeing women in my classes with little kids on their laps, knowing that they are sharing this consciousness and this frequency with these children that will grow up and be a part of this world. It brings tears to my eyes. Like, this is the work, right? Where all human beings are coming to the table. We're all looking at our individual blocks, healing them together, not condemning one another, but also not running away from the problems and not allowing our history to make us feel shame and move away from things, but to look at racism, invite it to the table and let it know it's time for you to go. And if you hold that frequency of love, the frequency of fear that is racism starts to dissolve. It cannot stand. It only can stand when we give it power, right? So that this work is cathartic and catalytic and just so, so deeply powerful.
I just so love what you are doing in the world, and it is really raising that level of consciousness there as well. Just it's others as souls having this human experience, and seeing beyond the physical level as well, seeing the heart to the other person. Because if we come from that loving, I believe it is just such a different experience. Because the loving, I believe it's the key there. Like, into that loving, and that is the medicine for all of us.
Yes, that's the medicine. Yes.
So I love how you talk about the consciousness, and you also talk about the separation consciousness. So where would you say we are in regards to healing the separation consciousness on the planet now?
Yeah, separation consciousness is really deep. The root of separation consciousness, where I feel like it has started, was our separation from God or the divine. That's the first place we separate ourselves. When you look out into the world, there's different systems, different religion even being a system, or different messages around you are separate from God, lower than God, not really recognizing the divine as a part of you, that integrated, I am an aspect of all that there is. I am an aspect of the divine, of God, or whatever it is you may call the universe as well. To me, healing and having a realization that you are one with the divine is where the foundation of healing separation consciousness comes. And from that, when knowing yourself, that level of self-realization, when you walk through the world and see other people, then you can begin to have a realization that they are also you as well, that there's just one fabric, that we're one human family. And that really sustains a strong inner template in order to really walk through the world in a more benevolent place. So compassionate is not just a thought or a concept or a word or something someone is telling you. When you know yourself to be a part of the divine, knowing yourself as an aspect of God, that realization is transcendent. It helps empower me to be in the world, right? To knowing truly who I am. Before I am a woman, before I am a Black woman, before I am a daughter, I am an aspect of God. And so therefore I'm walking through the world through this lens. And when I have to deal with practical and social issues, at the core of me, I have this remembrance. And it empowers and it heals and it's a transmission for other people. So healing separation consciousness is really powerful. And it's, for me, humanity coming back home to ourselves, knowing we're not sinners, we're not dirty. You know, we are the divine. We are loved, immensely loved and beautiful. And I would love for us to remember that.
Yeah. That is so needed, that work, and it's very much aligns the work that I do with people who have gone through adversity or trauma, because that is causing also us feeling separate. That's at least was my own personal experience. And then like coming to that oneness, it is possible.
It is.
It does require some work and support. I feel like being able to see those blocks, seeing what's there on the way, and having the willingness again to take those steps forward. So this your work inspires me really. So I want to just ask, what inspires you about this work?
Consciousness is my jam. I'll say that. I love talking about consciousness. It's been such my journey, my path, as we'll say, my path, just being born into these systems in the world. It is my consciousness that has been the game changer for my life. And so I'm on fire about that. I think consciousness is what inspires me. It has given me a sense of self and tools and knowing that no one can take away. Like I have this internal transformation that has happened that has really helped me move through the world in a way that opens me up to so many possibilities and so much love, something beyond the systems and, you know, the physical reality. And so it is everything to me. And so this work inspires me to be able to share the content and modalities and tools and concepts and perspectives that has changed my life, right? To be born in a system, to be economically poor and born to a single mother, to have these experiences, and then to come to know myself as this abundant, powerful, loving, benevolent being. Like I want to scream that from the rooftops, right? Like this is the medicine. This is the work, you know, like having this peace, it alleviates a lot of suffering. So pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, and I've lived that. Because even when I met you, that was a hard time in life. I was going on that evolutionary path of believing in myself and my message, and not really feeling supported or seen or understood by the world. And just moving through that, it has helped me to have such a strong sense of self and connection with the divine. Yeah, so it's been a beautiful journey. Challenging, but beautiful journey.
Yeah. It is. And I still remember like we having that conversation one of the evenings. And even then, even though you were going through hard times, there was this spark within you, that energy that you bring. You light up the rooms where you go. I know that,
Thanks,
like
Katja.
you have that spark within you. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch where she's going. And that's what I've been doing. And now when I saw your work, I was like, I got to have her have her in my show to talk more. And
beautiful.
you have definitely given us a lot to think about today. And I know you put together a special gift for my community to take what we have been talking about here today and go deeper with you. So can you share a little bit about the gift?
Yes, it's a 3-part video series on evolutionary leadership, and it's leading you into the work of sacred activism. So if they feel called to that, it'll be speaking on communication, your own individual healing, and how to share your message from more of a benevolent place that is actually magnetizing people to your work and actually taking activism like to the next evolutionary rung, right? I feel like racial healing and activism, social issues is being an invitation to us all now to step deeper into our power and share it with our communities. So yes, a beautiful 3-part video series that I'm honored to give to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes,
So
yes,
you will find that below. So check the description
yes.
and get that gift. And now, as we start wrapping up here, do you have a special message that you'd like to share?
What I'm hearing is just remember who we are, remember who you are. In this busy world with so much going on, taking our time to come back to the self, to love, to your heart is a powerful and much needed routine or ritual to add to your life, to come that deep into the heart of who you truly are, to keep that seed, keep that flame burning, to tend to it, to cultivate it, and be a light into the world, and go into the dark places once you have that light lit. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us today. And if you found this interview helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it and subscribe for my channel for more. And I am sending you lots of light, lots of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.